Hello, friends. I'm going to be talking to you today about the 5 love languages. This is from a book by Gary Chapman. It's a really good book. Thought I'd just tell you who it is in case you were like, this is pretty cool stuff, which it is. And, maybe you might want to read the book. All right. I'm going to give you the 411 though. Basically, the premise of this book is that people communicate love through 5 basic channels, all right? And those are quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. All right, so I wanted to talk briefly about what do those mean, because this does not just apply to like boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife relationships. This applies to like how people get along with their parents, how siblings get along, how friends demonstrate love and respect for each other, colleagues. So there are a lot of relationships out there, and this can be applied to them. So quality time is the first one. And when you're talking about quality time, this is a little bit more in depth than it seems, because quality time doesn't just mean a lot of time together, which it does. It does mean a lot of time together, but it means more than that. The time should be quality time. If you are trying to speak to someone using their love language of quality time, then you are going to want to find out what it is that they like to spend time doing and do that. You also should do it with enthusiasm. So, guys, for example, you probably don't love shopping as much as girls do, but if you are speaking to someone from the love language of quality time and she really likes to go shopping, and you go along and roll your eyes and complain and stand by the door with your arms crossed, this is not going to demonstrate to her that you are trying to show love. So when you spend quality time with someone, it should be enthusiastically. Girls, you might not want to learn how to play golf or watch it on TV, but if that is what he likes to do in his love language is quality time, then you should do it enthusiastically, all right? So quality time is more about the person that you're trying to show love to. It is time, a good amount of time, and that time is quality, positive, upbeat, enjoyable time together. Not complaining or eye rolling or being annoyed or like you can't wait for this to be over. Then that's not going to count. All right. Words of affirmation is the next one, and to affirm someone means to make them feel good about whatever it is. So like, if a parent affirms their child, they might let them know like, I really saw the amount of effort that you put into that, and that was really great. Or, I appreciate the decisions that you're making. Some of those are tough decisions, but you're doing a really good job with it. Those are affirming words. So they can be compliments, and or they can be words of encouragement. So any words that you can give that encourage someone, that build someone up, that compliment them, those are words of affirmation. Thank you for taking care of the chores for me. I really appreciated that. I know you were busy, but you took the time to do it, and that means a lot to me. Words of affirmation. Hey, you're looking really good today. Like you're in a really good mood. Your outfit looks great. These are all words of affirmation that are related to things that are important to the person you are trying to speak love into. All right. Acts of service is the next one, and this is doing things for someone, and not just the things that you think are important. All right. So like, ice cream is important to me, but when I buy ice cream for my husband, he likes ice cream, but he's not like, woohoo. It should be something that he likes. So, for example, if I put gas in the car, he appreciates that because then he does not have to go do it. He is in charge of doing that. So if I take the time to do that, he really appreciates it. Shoveling. He is pretty much in charge of the shoveling, or like bringing the garbage cans back. So if I get home from work first and take care of that, he really appreciates that. Like maybe picking up dinner or making dinner. If I need something from the store and I'm like, oh, I forgot to pick up whatever, and my husband will say, hey, like, why don't you just let me do that for you? You keep working in the kitchen and I will run and take care of that for you. That is an act of service. All right. My son's primary love language is acts of service. And all the time he used to ask my husband if he had time, would he mind cleaning out his car? And his car was kind of gross. But as an act of love, my husband would do that. He would take it in, get rid of all the garbage. He would vacuum it out. He would take it through the car wash. And my son really appreciated that. Okay, next we have gifts, and that's just giving gifts. And I think sometimes people are like, oh, right, so I gotta like buy their love. Well, it doesn't need to necessarily be something extravagant. We're not talking about, jewelry and diamonds and a new car. That's not what we're talking about. Although I'm sure that'd be nifty, not necessary. A gift that demonstrates that you are thinking about that person. Again, it should be something that they like, not something that you think is cool. My husband, every once in a while, buys me flowers. He doesn't do it very often, though, because I don't really love flowers. I really don't. I would rather have him bring me home a pint of ice cream or some chicken fried rice, because that's what I like. A card. Writing a poem. Writing a poem is free, but that is a gift that you can give. Baked goods. All right, so just check in your cupboard. See if you've got any muffin mix or brownie mix in there. And you can make those and give them to somebody. A playlist. Again, that's free. And even if you just say, like, I was thinking of you, I know with the technology today, like CDs or thing of the past, but to just say, these are some songs that you could maybe look up that make me think of you. A craft. A snack. All right, what is the person like? So, all right, that's gifts. Pretty self-explanatory. And last but not least is physical touch. All right, and now obviously if you're talking about a married couple, physical touch is going to look different. But you could have, like I have a teenage child, and that child really likes physical touch. So what does that look like? Hugs. If my son likes physical touch, I'm very huggy. But if a parent was not huggy, I don't know if you remember that from To Kill a Mockingbird, but Atticus was not big on the physical touch, but when he would do this to his son, like, that was all good. What else? A pat on the shoulder or the back. A foot rub. Now, obviously, this is not something you can't give a colleague a foot rub, because that's just weird. All right. So it really depends on the relationship as to what forms of physical touch that you would want to utilize. A kiss, sitting next to each other, like on the couch, and just being arm to arm. That's an example of physical touch. So there's a lot of different types, and you could see all of these different types of love languages. So again, we've got quality time, which is an extended amount of time that is quality and focused enthusiastically on the other person. We've got words of affirmation, which include things like compliments, words of encouragement, appreciation. We've got acts of service, which is really, self-explanatory, just doing things that the other person needs done, but you're going to do that for them. Gifts, giving things which don't have to be a lot of money, that demonstrate that you've been thinking about the other person. And then physical touch. Like I said, plenty of different examples there, from holding hands to snuggling, a lot of different stuff, and it obviously depends on what the relationship is. usually when people are dating, there's this like honeymoon period that they call. And the reason why is because at the beginning of many relationships, people are super enthusiastic about the relationship. And so they want to show their love in a lot of different ways. They're probably not even thinking about it, but they're making a very big effort. And so really they're hitting 2 or more, sometimes all 5 of the love languages. So, you've been dating somebody for a month. You want to spend a lot of time with them, so you've got the quality time. You are saying things, like you're really beautiful, or I really like your eyes, whatever. These are all words of affirmation. Acts of service, bringing them flowers or picking up some food to bring over. Gifts, like, hey, I made you something, or I wrote you this poem, or here's a card, I was thinking of you. And then physical touch, right? A lot of like kissing and hand holding and snuggling. And so at the beginning of the relationship, you could really easily see all 5 of those love languages taking place. But later on, as you move on in the relationship, people start to get comfortable and they just don't try as hard. And so what happens is they start to speak their primary love language. Now, my primary love language is the way that I feel loved. So for me, quality time is the most important thing. So if I was speaking all 5 of the love languages before, because it's very likely that the person that you're with has a different love language than you do. They feel love in a different form than you do. And so if you just start speaking just the one that you're comfortable with, the one that you feel love, suddenly the other 4 are taken away and their primary love language need is not being met. And then they start to feel like, hey, this person doesn't love me anymore. So try to think of it like this. Okay, let's say there's these 2 people, Charles and Rita. Okay, so Charles, his primary, not love language, but speaking language is English, and his secondary language is Spanish. Then we've got Rita, whose primary language is Spanish, secondary is Russian, and third is English. Okay, so when they first meet, they're speaking all of these languages, and it's very easy to communicate with here's what I said and here's what you understood. But as time goes by, if Charles is only speaking English, well, that's Rita's third. And if Rita's only speaking Spanish, that's Charles' second. They're gonna lose a lot in translation. Okay, like I can speak Spanish, but if the person that I was talking to was only speaking Spanish, I would miss a ton of what they were trying to communicate to me. And this is what happens with love languages. All right. So I'm just speaking quality time, but my husband is like, hey, like we never snuggle anymore. You don't seem to want to kiss me as much. And I'm not even thinking of it. Think about how it impacts parents and kids. Think about how it impacts, people that are dating, people that are married. Think of how it impacts friends, or how much stronger the friendship could be if friends were aware of what the other person's love language was and they could speak into this. Really what you want to do is you want to get fluent in the other person's love language. So for me, acts of service, not a big deal, but for my son, it is. And so I need to be like mindful of that. I need to be deliberate in doing those things, those acts of service that make him feel loved. All right. And all of my kids have different ones. So that's really interesting because I have 3 kids. So you really have to be mindful. It's something that you really need to be deliberate about. What you need to do is, first of all, it's really smart for you to know what your love language is. So I know some of you are like, oh, I'm not exactly sure where I fall because I feel like there's 2 or 3 of these that I fit into. Well, you are actually going to go online. There's a link on Classroom, and you are going to take the love language quiz. It's super short and it's free, and you don't have to sign into anything. So you just go to the link, you click on it, go to the teen one, and there'll be just some questions, and it's like this one or this one. Where do you feel stronger? Here or here? You click on that one, it takes you to the next one. And then at the end, it gives you percentages on the 5 love languages, like where do you fall in here? What is the most important to you? Okay, so then you can find out either through discussion or having your friend, the person that you're dating, whoever, take the love language test Or you could just discuss, these are the 5 love languages, and, maybe give some examples, like, would you feel more loved by me if I did this, or this, or this, or this? Kind of have a conversation about it and get an idea. And then, like I said, you can apply that to the relationship deliberately, all right? So when you send this stuff to me, I would like you to tell me what your first and second was, your primary and your secondary love language, all right? So you're going to go there and take the quiz, and then there's a couple questions that I have on there for you to answer after you're done with that. All right, so that's the 5 love languages. One more time. They are quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. You probably already have an idea, but I still want you to go on there, take that quiz, and let me know what the percentages were.